I'm the only one who...
Why is it that jail helps certain artists but ruins others? Besides the length of the sentences, of course. Jail is terrible. Realistically, I wouldn't wish jail on anyone. You aren't a person anymore. At that point, you belong to the government and you're nothing but a number. You get told when to eat, when to go outside, when to go to bed, when to shower. It's literally hell. The wild thing about jail, though, is that it is so easy to go there if you really wanted to. Really, you could go outside right now, find a random person, and punch them in the face. Only 3 things will happen to you from that point. You'll either get your ass beat, you'll get or you'll get arrested, and without posting bail, you'll be in jail. Did you know that in Miami Beach, Florida, if you are caught selling oranges, you will be put in jail? It's literally illegal to sell oranges on Miami Beach. My point being, jail is easily avoidable, but sometimes it's not. You know, like when you're a product of your environment. If the environment is bad, you may be bad too. Many artists have been to jail, prison as well. And jail is horrible as aforementioned, but it can also help you as an artist. Or maybe it's not like that anymore. I don't know how many times I'm gonna talk about X on my channel, but he just always finds a way to be mentioned. No, I am not going to go over this man's childhood. There's literally no point. Let's skip to the part where he owns up to the fact that he grew up kind of rough.
Me and my mom went through it hard. Like, my mom was just in situations where she couldn't take care of me, you feel me? Like, niggas done drive-bys on me when I was like a jit type shit. Like I stabbed my first nigga a bit. Like, I bit out, like, basically a nigga tried to put his hands on my mom type shit.
And
like,
you were how young?
I was like 6.
6, and you stabbed him.
And
with what?
I bit his flesh out and like grabbed the glass shard and like poked him with it type shit. Like,
he said himself that he was a hothead, just overall reckless. This path can lead you down 2 places, the graveyard or the prison yard. X was doing some insane work in the earlier half of his career, like assaulting people on video, saying crazy stuff on live, and just overall nonsense. Now later down the road, he would clean up his act and go through his whole evolution and basically becoming a better person and putting all of that behind him. But right before his career really took off, he would be arrested for cosplaying Ike Turner, which would create one of the most iconic mugshots of all time. There are people today who still have this as their profile picture. I mean, this is probably the most recognizable picture of X to this day. It was everywhere. So keep in mind, while he's in jail, one of his biggest songs is going viral. People are starting to take notice, but what was happening at the same time was that while they were looking up who this guy was that made this crazy ass song, they quickly find out that he was in jail. So everyone is posting free X all over their social media, and at this point, it almost seemed like being in jail was helping him. I mean, you could argue that if he wasn't in jail, he would have been able to capitalize more on the song getting bigger, but it didn't matter because the supporters were doing all the work for him. And when he was finally released after a few months, the first thing he did was go on an interview where he would call out Drake for copying his cadence and flow on a song he previewed at a show called KMT. Now, I'm not gonna lie, a situation like this is just so rare because X was generational, and I truly believe he'll be talked about to our kids' kids. Dude had such a short life, but he did so much in it, and I think that's why when everyone found out he was locked up while he was blowing up, it drove his career to an even higher degree. It's not as uncommon as you would think though, as there's another artist that this happened to as well, but not in a really good way. Pooh Shiesty. Oh man, here we go. So right now, Pooh Shiesty is in prison, and I really hate that, man, but to be fair, he was a part of 1017. I didn't expect anything else. And this is a little off topic, but Gucci Mane's label 1017 is cursed. I don't care what anybody says. You think I'm crazy? Pooh Shiesty, prison. Matt Critter, prison. Fujiano, prison. Rollboy, prison. Rollo, prison. Hot Boy West, prison. I mean, holy. Now, I guess you could honestly say that this man just signs real street dudes, and it's so sad because there really are talented people that deserve that push but aren't as dumb as these people are. But back to my point. Shiesty is in prison right now, currently serving 5 years after 2 shootouts he was involved in. Now, it seems like this dude came out of nowhere back in 2020 with his hits, but I'm not here to talk about his career. Long story short, he was booked for armed robbery, aggravated assault, and theft charges after an incident in Florida, and he would bond out shortly after. But a few months later, he was at a strip club in Miami and had an altercation between him and security, which led to someone being shot in the ankle. After this, he was deemed too dangerous to be outside, so he had to sit without bond. He would go to trial and be sentenced for 5 years, and my whole point about that is that unless you're a super big fan of him, you probably forgot about about him at this point. And if you haven't forgot about him, you certainly aren't just like thinking about it every day. Now, this situation is way different from X because truthfully, there's no real hype behind him getting out other than like his core fan base, you know what I mean? And I just wouldn't say that Shiesty is really growing right now like how X was when he was locked up, even though he's trying to the best of his ability to keep people updated on what's going on until his release day. Honestly, you could really say that jail is ruining this man's career, but why is it ruining his career but it was boosting X's? I boiled this down to two things that you may disagree with, and that's fine, I don't care. One reason could be that the story behind why both of these guys locked up are just way too different. I mean, you got the regular street shit on one side, then with X, it was a whole story behind it, albeit it was very controversial, but there was just a really interesting story there. Then the other thing, to be completely honest, and really the main thing, it's the music. At the time, X was one of the faces of a genre that had been done before but was getting rebranded as something new, trap metal. Then he had the infamous mugshot. I mean, there's just a lot of reasons why jail was helping X while you got Pooh Shitty's hype going down each day. The thing about the music industry and the fans of it, people move on very quickly, and if nobody's hearing from you, nobody's really checking for you. I mean, that just goes for everything on the internet, really. The internet just moves fast. I don't really care if it sounds like glazing, but that's why X's case is so special, because how can you be locked up and still get bigger? Like, you just really had to be there to see it. It was crazy. And now for the last thing I wanted to discuss, this is more of just a cautionary tale about how you just shouldn't be an idiot. One of the biggest wastes of potential in rap history. Tay-K, man. Now, the first time I ever heard Tay-K was in 2016. This song came on when my playlist on SoundCloud was on its last song, and it just skipped to this next random song called Bling Bling. Boom. I'm instantly hooked. The beat, the way him and Pimpy's, who is also in prison, rapped on it, it's just amazing. Now, I had no idea about the race at that point. I actually don't even remember if it was out at that point either, but god damn do I remember when it started going viral. You could not escape this song or this video. It was everywhere. A lot of rappers were doing remixes to it. He was getting support from Gucci Mane, Lil Yachty, like 21 Savage. Just a lot of rappers were supporting this kid at the time, because at the time he was a kid. Now keep in mind, when this song was going crazy, he was literally on the run. That's why it was going viral. He was on the run for capital murder, and eventually bro was caught, and in 2019 he was sentenced to 55 years in prison. Very hefty sentence. What a fucking waste. Now, I know this isn't my wasted potential video, but man, Tay-K's way of rapping was just so special, and I can't even put my finger on why, because it wasn't that he was doing anything new. It was just the way he would rap would just have you hype, man. Like After You, Saran Pack, even his songs produced by 1999 Beats, which had more of a cloud rap feel to them, were just really good and ahead of their time. Long story short, another great artist was put away to the system for a long time over their stupidity. And it's like, the more you think about it, name one rapper that has never been arrested and put in jail without Googling it. Why is this such a common occurrence for hip-hop artists? Now, the answer to that question would be very controversial to say, so I don't want to say it, but I would honestly just have to say that hip-hop is so tied in with crime and gang culture, so of course it's super common that a lot of rappers end up in jail. There's so many rappers who have been arrested, you really couldn't even fathom it. Think about it, rap and crime literally go hand in hand. A lot of rappers are former criminals, and many that are not pretty much will pretend to just seem cool. Impressionable young men will eat up all this nonsense and think that crime and criminality is the way to go. Now your stupid ass ends up in jail too because you heard Nardo Wick say, "When it's smoke, we get to spinning while the sun's out." Nigga, are you kidding me? Actually, fuck it, rant time. That's the problem with y'all rap fans, bruh. Y'all wanna be just like these niggas so bad that y'all will literally end up in jail. You got niggas like Young Fazo talking about all my bags overweight, clip long, bullet hit your face. No, what the hell, Young Fazo, that's cap. This nigga isn't shooting shit. And really, you know what? Stop being so fucking impressionable, man. You, yes, I'm literally talking to you. Stop. Be yourself. That goes for me and everybody else on planet Earth. Just look at 83 Hades, man. I thought this man was a demon, but no, he's not. And if you want to know more about that, let me know. I got a whole video I could do about that man. But back to my point. Look at 1090 Jake's mainly focused content. These dudes be out here snitching, bro. Tupac, Wayne, these dudes are inspirational to a whole generation of artists, and they are not the greatest role models of all time. Not calling them snitches, by the way, just saying they were in jail at one point, bro. Gucci Gucci Mane, Soulja Boy, Tory Lanez. I mean, it's almost like these dudes just love jail. And some of them do. And the most unfortunate part about all of this is that it's probably never going to stop because, like I said earlier, some of these rappers are just a product of their environment. I'm not trying to make this video too deep, but god damn, stay out of jail. Later.
I was 14, started hustling in the streets, I need morphine. Hey, I was 14, started hustling in the streets, I need morphine.